Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to speak about something profoundly significant yet often underestimated: our emotions. Emotions are the threads that weave the fabric of human experience, but when left unchecked, they can become a storm that disrupts our personal growth, relationships, and overall well being. Therefore, learning to control your emotions is not just a skill, it's a cornerstone of a fulfilling and successful life. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of emotional control and personal growth. It is the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. When we take the time to pause and truly reflect on what we're feeling, we unlock the first step toward managing those emotions effectively. Without self-awareness, emotions can become overwhelming, leading to impulsive reactions that may not align with our values or intentions. Recognizing emotions starts with paying attention to the physical and mental signals they send. For instance, anger might manifest as a tight jaw, a racing heart, or clenched fists. Anxiety might feel like a churning stomach, shallow breathing, or an incessant stream of worried thoughts. Each emotion has its own unique signature, and by tuning into these signals, we can identify what we're experiencing even before we put it into words. The process of identifying emotions also involves understanding their origins. Ask yourself, what triggered this feeling? Was it something someone said, an event that occurred, or even my own thoughts? Tracing the source of an emotion helps you make sense of it. Sometimes you may realize that the intensity of your reaction doesn't match the situation. For example, feeling disproportionately upset over a minor inconvenience might signal unresolved stress or deeper issues that need attention. Self-awareness also extends to understanding patterns in your emotional responses. Over time, you may notice recurring triggers or themes. For instance, you might find that criticism from others consistently makes you feel defensive, or that being rushed often leads to frustration. Identifying these patterns empowers you to anticipate and prepare for situations that could provoke strong emotions, allowing you to approach them with greater calm and control. A powerful tool for building self-awareness is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of observing your thoughts and feelings in the present moment without judgment. It encourages you to accept your emotions as they are rather than suppressing or exaggerating them. When you practice mindfulness, you create space between feeling an emotion and reacting to it. This space is where choice lies, the choice to respond in a way that aligns with your values and long-term goals. Journaling is another effective method to enhance self-awareness. By writing down your thoughts and feelings, you can gain clarity about what's going on inside you. Journals provide a safe space to process emotions, identify triggers, and reflect on your responses. Over time, reviewing your entries can reveal patterns and insights that might otherwise go unnoticed in the busyness of daily life. Self-awareness is not only about understanding emotions in isolation, but also recognizing how they influence your actions and relationships. Emotions often drive behavior, sometimes subtly and other times overtly. For example, if you feel unappreciated at work, you might withdraw from colleagues or become less engaged in your tasks. By recognizing this connection, you can address the underlying emotion directly, perhaps by seeking feedback or expressing your feelings rather than allowing it to shape your behavior in unhelpful ways. Importantly, self-awareness fosters self-compassion. As you become more attuned to your emotions, you may discover vulnerabilities, fears, or regrets that you've been avoiding. Rather than judging yourself for these feelings, self-awareness invites you to approach them with kindness and understanding. It's about acknowledging that emotions are a natural part of being human and that you are not alone in experiencing them. Practicing self-awareness is not a one-time event, but an ongoing journey. It requires patience and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. However, the rewards are immense. With greater self-awareness, you gain the ability to pause in the heat of the moment, to reflect on your emotions before reacting, and to make choices that are deliberate rather than reactive. Ultimately, self-awareness is the foundation upon which emotional control is built. By understanding your emotions, you can navigate life's challenges with greater clarity, resilience, and grace. Instead of being swept away by the tide of your feelings, you learn to ride the waves, steering your life in a direction that reflects your true self and aspirations. Pausing before reacting is a simple yet transformative practice that can significantly improve how we manage our emotions. It creates a moment of space between experiencing an emotion and responding to it. This brief pause might seem insignificant, but it holds tremendous power. It allows us to step out of the grip of immediate emotional impulses and make choices that align with our values, intentions, and long-term goals. When an emotional trigger occurs, our natural response is often automatic and reactive. For instance, when someone says something hurtful, we might lash out in anger or retreat into silence without considering the consequences. These reactions are driven by our fight or flight instincts, a mechanism designed to protect us in dangerous situations. However, in everyday interactions, these instinctual reactions can lead to misunderstandings, conflict, or regret. The act of pausing interrupts this automatic cycle. It gives us the chance to reflect and gain control over our response. In that moment of pause, we can ask ourselves critical questions. What am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? What is the most constructive way to respond? These questions shift our focus from reacting impulsively to responding intentionally. They bring our rational mind into the equation, helping us balance emotion with reason. One of the simplest ways to implement a pause is through conscious breathing. When faced with an emotionally charged situation, taking a deep breath helps calm the nervous system and reduces the intensity of the emotional reaction. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts the body's stress response. It slows the heart rate, steadies the mind, and creates a sense of grounding. Even a single deep breath can provide the clarity needed to approach a situation more thoughtfully. Pausing also allows us to evaluate the broader context of a situation. In the heat of the moment, our perspective often narrows and we focus solely on the immediate emotional trigger. By taking a moment to step back, we can consider other factors that might be influencing the situation. For example, if a colleague snaps at you during a meeting, your initial reaction might be anger or defensiveness. However, pausing allows you to consider that they might be under stress or dealing with personal challenges. This broader perspective can lead to greater empathy and a more measured response. Another benefit of pausing is that it reduces the likelihood of saying or doing something you might later regret. Words spoken in anger or frustration can damage relationships and create lasting wounds. By pausing, you give yourself the opportunity to choose words and actions that are constructive rather than harmful. This approach not only diffuses tension in the moment, but also strengthens trust and communication in the long term. Pausing is not always easy, especially in high-pressure situations or when emotions run high. It requires practice and intentionality. One way to cultivate this skill is through mindfulness exercises. Practices like meditation train the mind to stay present and develop the ability to observe emotions without immediately reacting to them. Over time, this mindfulness becomes a natural part of daily life, making it easier to pause even in challenging situations. Additionally, pausing before reacting is a sign of emotional maturity and self-discipline. It demonstrates that you are in control of your emotions rather than being controlled by them. This self-mastery can inspire confidence and respect in others, whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or social interactions. In some cases, pausing might mean physically stepping away from a situation to give yourself time to process your emotions. Excusing yourself from a heated conversation or taking a walk can provide the space needed to regain composure. Once you have calmed down, you can return to the situation with a clearer mind and a more balanced perspective. Pausing before reacting is a habit that requires consistent effort to build but offers profound rewards. It empowers you to respond to life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and intentionality. By creating that moment of space, you take control of your emotional journey, ensuring that your actions are a true reflection of your best self. Over time, this practice not only enhances your relationships and decision-making, but also brings a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment to your life. Reframing your perspective is a powerful tool for managing emotions and responding to life's challenges with clarity and resilience. It involves shifting the way you perceive a situation, particularly those that evoke strong negative emotions. While the circumstances themselves might not change, your interpretation of them can, and this shift can significantly impact your emotional response and overall well-being. When we experience an event, our emotions are often shaped not by the event itself, but by how we interpret it. For instance, if a colleague forgets to include you in a meeting, your initial reaction might be anger or hurt, assuming it was intentional. However, reframing the situation considering that it might have been an oversight or due to a misunderstanding can dramatically alter how you feel. This practice of challenging automatic assumptions and exploring alternative perspectives helps reduce emotional intensity and fosters a more balanced response. Reframing begins with awareness. When you feel overwhelmed or distressed, pause and examine your thoughts about the situation. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Is this story based on facts, or is it influenced by my fears, insecurities, or assumptions? Often we construct narratives that amplify negative emotions, such as believing someone's actions were meant to hurt us or that a single mistake defines our worth. Recognizing these thought patterns is the first step toward changing them. A key aspect of reframing is separating facts from interpretations. Facts are objective and verifiable. For example, my friend didn't respond to my text for 2 days. Interpretations are subjective and influenced by personal biases, such as they must be upset with me. By distinguishing between the two, you can challenge interpretations that may be unhelpful or inaccurate. Reframing involves questioning these interpretations. Could there be other reasons for their delay? Perhaps they were busy or forgot. This broader perspective often leads to more constructive emotional responses. Another effective way to reframe your perspective is by adopting a growth mindset. Challenges, setbacks, and failures can feel disheartening, but they are also opportunities for learning and development. For example, instead of viewing a rejection as a reflection of your inadequacy, you can reframe it as a stepping stone toward growth. Consider what you can learn from the experience and how it might help you improve in the future. This shift in focus transforms obstacles into opportunities and fosters resilience. Gratitude is another powerful reframing tool. When faced with difficulties, it's easy to focus solely on what's wrong. However, by intentionally seeking aspects of the situation for which you can be grateful, you shift your perspective toward positivity. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic, instead of dwelling on the frustration, you might appreciate the opportunity to listen to your favorite podcast or enjoy a moment of quiet reflection. Gratitude doesn't negate challenges, but it helps you see the bigger picture and find silver linings. Empathy also plays a crucial role in reframing. When someone's actions upset you, putting yourself in their shoes can help you see the situation from their perspective. For example, if a coworker seems curt or dismissive, instead of assuming malice, consider that they might be under stress or preoccupied with personal issues. This empathetic reframing fosters understanding and reduces conflict, allowing for more compassionate interactions. Reframing isn't about denying or suppressing emotions. It's natural and valid to feel disappointment, frustration, or sadness in response to certain situations. Instead, reframing helps you process these emotions in a way that empowers rather than overwhelms you. It encourages you to take ownership of your narrative and choose interpretations that align with your goals and values. Practicing reframing consistently can transform the way you approach life's challenges. Over time, you develop a habit of looking for alternative perspectives, which becomes second nature. This mental flexibility not only improves emotional regulation, but also enhances problem solving and decision making. When you can view situations from multiple angles, you're better equipped to find solutions and navigate complexities with confidence. Reframing also strengthens relationships. By interpreting others' actions more generously and avoiding assumptions, you reduce misunderstandings and build trust. For example, if a friend cancels plans at the last minute, reframing might involve considering their reasons without taking it personally. This approach fosters open communication and deepens connections. Ultimately, reframing your perspective is about empowering yourself. It reminds you that while you may not control every situation, you have control over how you perceive and respond to it. This mindset cultivates resilience, reduces stress, and allows you to approach life with greater optimism and balance. It's a practice that not only improves your emotional health, but also enriches your overall quality of life. Developing healthy outlets for your emotions is essential for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Emotions, particularly strong ones like anger, sadness, or anxiety, need an avenue for expression. Suppressing or ignoring them can lead to internal strain, while unregulated expression can harm relationships or create unnecessary conflict. Healthy outlets provide a balanced way to process emotions, helping you release pent-up feelings constructively and regain emotional equilibrium. Emotions are energy in motion, and that energy needs to go somewhere. Without proper outlets, unprocessed emotions can manifest in harmful ways, such as chronic stress, physical ailments, or destructive behaviors. For instance, someone who consistently suppresses frustration might experience frequent headaches, develop unhealthy coping mechanisms like overeating, or suddenly explode in anger over minor issues. Healthy outlets act as pressure release valves, allowing you to address emotions before they escalate or linger. One of the most effective outlets for emotions is physical activity. Exercise not only benefits the body, but also the mind. Activities like jogging, dancing, yoga, or even a brisk walk can help reduce stress hormones like cortisol while boosting endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. Physical movement provides an immediate way to channel emotions, especially those that create tension, such as anger or anxiety. For instance, hitting a punching bag can help release anger, while practicing yoga can calm a restless mind. Creative expression is another powerful way to process emotions. Artistic activities like painting, writing, playing music, or crafting allow you to externalize your feelings in a safe and constructive manner. These outlets provide a space to explore and understand emotions without judgment. Writing, in particular, can be incredibly therapeutic. Journaling about your thoughts and feelings helps clarify what you're experiencing and why. Over time, it can reveal patterns and triggers, empowering you to address the root causes of emotional distress. Talking to someone you trust is also a valuable outlet. Sharing your feelings with a friend, family member, or therapist can provide relief and perspective. Verbalizing emotions often makes them feel less overwhelming and more manageable. It's important, however, to choose your confidant wisely, someone who listens without judgment and offers support rather than dismissal. In some cases, professional guidance from a therapist or counselor might be necessary to navigate deeper or more complex emotions. For many, spending time in nature offers a soothing outlet. Being outdoors, surrounded by greenery or open spaces, has a calming effect on the mind. Activities like hiking, gardening, or simply sitting in a park can help you feel more grounded and connected. Nature provides a peaceful setting for reflection, allowing you to process emotions in a tranquil environment. Mindfulness and meditation are also excellent ways to channel emotions. These practices encourage you to observe your thoughts and feelings without reacting to them immediately. Instead of being swept away by emotions, you learn to sit with them, acknowledge their presence, and let them pass naturally. Over time, mindfulness strengthens your ability to regulate emotions and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. For some, humor and laughter serve as effective outlets. Watching a funny movie, sharing jokes with friends, or finding humor in everyday situations can lighten emotional burdens. Laughter triggers the release of endorphins, relaxes the body, and shifts focus away from stressors. While humor may not solve underlying issues, it provides a temporary reprieve that helps you return to challenges with a clearer mindset. Healthy outlets vary from person to person, and finding what works best for you may require some experimentation. The key is to choose activities that genuinely help you feel better without causing harm to yourself or others. For example, while venting frustrations can be helpful, doing so in a way that blames or attacks others is counterproductive. Instead, aim for outlets that promote understanding, healing, and growth. It's also important to make these outlets a regular part of your routine, not just something you turn to in moments of crisis. Consistent engagement in healthy activities builds emotional resilience, making it easier to cope with stressors as they arise. For instance, someone who regularly practices yoga or writes in a journal may find it easier to manage challenging emotions compared to someone who only seeks relief sporadically. Incorporating multiple outlets into your life can also be beneficial. Different emotions might call for different approaches. Anger might be best addressed through physical activity, while sadness might find solace in creative expression or a heart-to-heart conversation. Having a range of strategies ensures that you're equipped to handle a variety of emotional experiences. Ultimately, healthy outlets for emotions are about self-care and self-compassion. They acknowledge that emotions are natural and deserve attention, but in ways that support rather than hinder your well-being. By channeling your feelings constructively, you create space for healing, growth, and a deeper connection to yourself and others. Over time, this practice fosters emotional balance and a greater sense of peace. Cultivating empathy and understanding is a powerful approach to managing emotions and building meaningful relationships. It involves making a conscious effort to see situations from the perspectives of others, which fosters emotional connection, reduces conflict, and enhances communication. Empathy is not only about understanding others' feelings, but also about acknowledging their experiences without judgment, allowing for a deeper connection and more constructive interactions. Empathy begins with the willingness to truly listen to others. Often in conversations or disagreements, we focus on preparing our response rather than fully absorbing what the other person is saying. This tendency can lead to misunderstandings and heightened emotions as individuals feel unheard or invalidated. By practicing active listening, you can demonstrate genuine interest in the other person's thoughts and feelings. Active listening involves maintaining eye contact, nodding, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting on what you've heard. These actions convey respect and attentiveness, creating a safe space for open dialogue. Understanding someone else's perspective often requires stepping outside your own assumptions and biases. Everyone's experiences are shaped by their unique backgrounds, cultures, and circumstances. Recognizing this diversity helps you approach situations with curiosity rather than judgment. For instance, if a coworker seems uncooperative during a project, instead of assuming laziness or hostility, empathy might lead you to consider that they are overwhelmed with other responsibilities or struggling with personal challenges. This shift in perspective can diffuse tension and pave the way for collaboration. Cultivating empathy also involves recognizing and validating emotions, even if you don't fully agree with the other person's viewpoint. Validation doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say, rather, it acknowledges that their feelings are real and important. For example, if a friend expresses frustration about a situation you find trivial, saying, "I can see why you're upset," shows that you respect their emotions without diminishing their experience. Validation fosters trust and emotional safety, encouraging open and honest communication. Empathy can be particularly transformative in moments of conflict. When emotions run high, it's easy to become defensive or focus solely on your own perspective. However, taking a step back to understand the other person's feelings can de-escalate the situation. For example, in a disagreement with a partner, pausing to ask, "What's really bothering you?" or "How can I help?" shifts the focus from blame to understanding. This approach not only helps resolve conflicts more effectively, but also strengthens the relationship by showing care and compassion. Developing empathy requires self-awareness and emotional regulation. If you're overwhelmed by your own emotions, it can be challenging to focus on someone else's perspective. Practices like mindfulness, deep breathing, or taking a brief pause can help you regain composure and approach interactions with a calmer, more open mindset. Additionally, reflecting on your own experiences of feeling misunderstood or unheard can deepen your capacity for empathy. Remembering how it feels when someone genuinely listens and cares can motivate you to offer the same to others. Empathy is also about embracing vulnerability. To truly connect with others, you must be willing to share and receive emotions authentically. This vulnerability creates a sense of shared humanity, reminding us that we all experience struggles, fears, and joys. For example, sharing a personal story about overcoming a challenge can help someone feel less alone in their own difficulties, fostering a bond of mutual understanding. One of the most profound ways to cultivate empathy is through exposure to diverse perspectives. Reading books, watching films, or engaging in conversations that reflect experiences different from your own broadens your understanding of the world. Volunteering or participating in community activities can also expose you to various life stories and challenges, enhancing your ability to relate to others. Empathy doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs or boundaries. It's about finding a balance between understanding others and maintaining self-respect. If a situation feels one-sided or emotionally draining, it's okay to step back and reassess. Healthy empathy involves both giving and receiving support, ensuring that your emotional well-being is also nurtured. The benefits of cultivating empathy extend far beyond individual interactions. Empathy contributes to stronger relationships, healthier workplaces, and more compassionate communities. It reduces misunderstandings and fosters collaboration as people feel valued and respected. Empathy also helps you navigate challenging situations with grace, allowing for solutions that consider the needs of everyone involved. Ultimately, cultivating empathy and understanding is a lifelong practice. It requires patience, effort, and a genuine commitment to connecting with others on a deeper level. By making empathy a priority, you not only improve your relationships, but also enrich your own emotional experience. The ability to see the world through someone else's eyes fosters a sense of connection, compassion, and humanity, creating a more harmonious and fulfilling life. Practicing self-compassion is one of the most effective ways to regulate your emotions and maintain emotional balance. It involves treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during moments of struggle, failure, or emotional distress. While many people naturally extend compassion to others, they often struggle to offer the same grace to themselves. Cultivating self-compassion allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and a healthier emotional state. Self-compassion begins with acknowledging your emotions without judgment. Everyone experiences difficult emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear, but it's common to criticize yourself for feeling a certain way or for not handling a situation perfectly. For example, after making a mistake at work, you might berate yourself with thoughts like, "I'm so stupid," or "I always mess things up." These harsh self-judgments only amplify feelings of guilt, shame, or inadequacy, making it harder to recover from the setback. Instead, self-compassion encourages you to recognize that it's okay to feel upset or disappointed, and that mistakes are a natural part of being human. Rather than criticizing yourself, you might say, I'm feeling really frustrated right now, and that's understandable. I can learn from this and do better next time. This shift in perspective fosters self-acceptance and helps you move forward more constructively. Another key aspect of self-compassion is recognizing your shared humanity. When facing difficulties, it's easy to feel isolated or believe that you're the only one struggling. However, pain and imperfection are universal experiences. Understanding that everyone faces challenges can help you feel less alone and more connected to others. For instance, if you're dealing with a personal failure, reminding yourself that others have faced similar setbacks and overcome them can provide comfort and motivation. Practicing self-kindness is central to self-compassion. This means speaking to yourself with the same care and understanding you would offer a close friend. Imagine a friend comes to you feeling overwhelmed by stress or regret. You wouldn't dismiss their feelings or insult them. Instead, you'd offer encouragement and reassurance. Self-kindness involves doing the same for yourself. When you catch yourself engaging in self-criticism, pause and replace those thoughts with supportive ones. For example, instead of thinking, I can't believe I let this happen, try saying, this is tough, but I'm doing the best I can. Self-compassion also involves taking care of your physical and emotional needs. Stress and difficult emotions can take a toll on your well-being, so it's essential to prioritize self-care. This might include getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, engaging in regular exercise, or taking breaks when you feel overwhelmed. Emotional self-care might involve journaling, meditating, or talking to someone you trust about how you're feeling. These practices help you recharge and build the resilience needed to face challenges with a clearer mind. It's important to note that self-compassion is not the same as self-pity or self-indulgence. Self-pity involves dwelling on your problems and feeling sorry for yourself, which can perpetuate negative emotions. Self-compassion, on the other hand, encourages you to acknowledge your struggles while empowering you to take constructive action. Similarly, self-compassion doesn't mean avoiding responsibility or excusing harmful behavior. Instead, it involves holding yourself accountable in a way that is constructive rather than punitive. One way to cultivate self-compassion is through mindfulness. Mindfulness involves observing your thoughts and emotions without becoming overly attached to them or trying to suppress them. It allows you to recognize when you're being overly critical of yourself and to respond with kindness instead. For example, if you're feeling anxious about a presentation, mindfulness can help you notice those anxious thoughts without letting them spiral into self-doubt. Instead of thinking, I'm going to fail, you can acknowledge I'm feeling nervous and that's normal. I can prepare and do my best. Another practice that fosters self-compassion is reframing negative self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking self-critical thoughts, try challenging them and replacing them with more supportive ones. For instance, if you think, I'm not good enough, ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this? Is it really true then? Replace it with a kinder thought, such as, I'm capable and learning every day. Building self-compassion takes time and patience. If you're not used to treating yourself with kindness, it may feel uncomfortable or unnatural at first. However, like any skill, self-compassion becomes easier with practice. Over time, you'll find that it helps you navigate emotions more effectively and approach life's challenges with greater ease. The benefits of self-compassion extend beyond emotional regulation. It can improve your relationships as treating yourself kindly makes it easier to extend kindness and understanding to others. It also boosts self-esteem, reduces stress, and enhances overall well-being. By practicing self-compassion, you create a supportive inner environment that helps you thrive even in the face of adversity. In a world that often emphasizes perfection and achievement, self-compassion is a powerful reminder that you are worthy of love and care, just as you are.